Were you surprised to see Amber Rose? It leaked earlier in the coming days leading up to the convention that she was going to be there. She would have a speaking role. She did speak. And then Joy Reid from MSNBC went in on Amber Rose over her RNC speech. First, let's show you what Amber said.
I'm here tonight to tell you, no matter your political background, that the best chance we have to give our babies a better life is to elect Donald Trump president of the United States. Now, you may be wondering why I'm up here telling you this. I'm no politician and I don't want to be, but I do care about the truth. And the truth is that the media has lied to us about Donald Trump. I know this because for a long time I believed those lies. So I'm here to set the record straight. The first person I knew who supported Donald Trump was my father. I was shocked. My entire family is racially diverse. And I believed the left-wing propaganda that Donald Trump was a racist. My father said, "No, he's not, Amber. What are you talking about?" And when I insisted, he said, "Prove it." So to prove my father wrong, I did my research and looked into all things Donald Trump. People have to do their research. I watched all the rallies, and I started meeting so many of you, his red hat wearing supporters. I realized Donald Trump and his supporters don't care if you're black, white, gay, or straight. It's all love. And that's when it hit me. These are my people. This is where I belong. I let go of my fear of judgment, of being misunderstood, of getting attacked by the left, and I put the red hat on too. The left told me to hate Trump, and even worse, to hate the other side, the people who support him. When you cut through the lies, you realize the truth. American families were better when Donald Trump was president.
So that threw me for a loop. I did watch it live. I quickly wanted to turn to reality television, 90 Day Fiance, the other way. Anything to escape this. And by the way, can someone check on Miss Rose's father? We need to check on him.
With millions watching and many people benefiting from this program called Indisputable, we just need 1% of the viewers to become a paid member so we can continue to bring this content to you. Now back to the show.
So like I said, I wanted to turn away, and I eventually did, but not before I listened to the reaction to Miss Rose. The CNN panelist had this to say.
This is how you change the composition of the electorate.
Yeah, that was probably the most dangerous speak for the Democratic coalition. That is a young woman of color. She's describing the experience a lot of people have, feeling that maybe if you're around too many liberals, you might get criticized too much, or you might not be able to speak your mind. And she spoke to it really well. And she's way more famous than any of us up here. Yeah. I'm going to tell you that, way more famous. And so to the extent that these guys are trying to bust up our coalition, that was a bunker buster right there.
By the way, and it's one of the things we've been talking about, but there are speakers who speak to the room, and there are speakers who speak through the television screen. She speaks through the camera to the audience at home, not, I mean, she's effective in the room, but when you're yelling into the room, that is not communicating directly through the lens.
This person is super talented. Yeah.
So the reaction to Miss Rose was even more jarring for me than her actual statements to the camera, okay? I'll give her that. People accuse me of not having eye contact because I'm constantly thinking, my eyes are darting all over the place. So she had great eye contact. It's just what came out of her mouth. And then to hear Anderson Cooper and company, boy, what a star. She does have a lot of followers. Good grief. Joy Reid, though, thank you, Joy. Joy Reid became the voice of reason. Listen.
The weekend, a member of Congress who was a Republican came out immediately and blamed the incident on DEI and said that the fact that there were women and Black people in the Secret Service is the reason this happened. That is a member of Congress who went out on the TV and said to the world that DEI was the cause of an assassination attempt. This is where the Republican Party is. So it's ironic that they were able to recruit this young woman who, and she's a racially ambiguous. I don't want to say she's Black because she has said she's not. So I don't want to say this Black woman, this woman who is of whatever race that she has claimed. She said she's not Black. But they've brought somebody whose whole career is based in Black culture. She used to be on a show on BET. That's the reason most people know who she is. She dated one of the most prominent African-American rappers in the business, in the history of hip hop. So her whole culture came from Black culture, even though she says she's not a Black person herself. And the fact that she is now the person they're using to try to recruit young people of color and to say that this is the person who is the endorser of Donald Trump who you should trust, when she won't even claim the culture that brought her to the table, I'm dubious that this will work. I don't know anyone who takes their political cues from Amber Rose, but just in case you do, you might want to duplicate doing your own research because she might not have done it thoroughly.
It's that last part. I hate groupthink. I like independent, even provocative thinkers. That's not what we heard last night. And Joy Reid was spot on in sensing and knowing and articulating that you were built, you made a living off the culture. And now suddenly, don't label me that. What research where'd she get her info on? Truth Social? Rumble? Did she get it on Rumble? I hope she's the only one, I said to myself. She's not, okay? Amber Rose joins a gallery of others selling out. That's what it's called at the RNC.
So this November, let's select the Braveheart of our time, Donald J. Trump.
There's something else me and President Trump have in common. The bad guys shot at us both, but they missed.
Under President Trump, we had the greatest economy in our lifetime. And in less than 4 years, under Joe Biden, everything changed. Under President Trump, there was hope. And we need that now more than ever.
Black people were sold on hope. Now our streets are rife with crime. Our kids can't read, and illegals are getting better help from Democrats in 4 days than we've gotten in 400 years.
Joe Biden and Kamala Harris sent their kids to high-priced private schools. But since they are in the pocket of the far-left teachers' unions, they trap poor kids like me in failing schools.
I grew up in awe of that story because it's my dad's story. It's part of my story. He and my mother raised me, never telling me that this is a racist country. Never.
I know this is going to offend the liberal elites. Every time I say it, it offends them. But let me say it one more time. America is not a racist country.
Yeah, I heard a little bit earlier today, if you don't vote for Donald Trump, you ain't Black.
So that was apparently day one, night one of the Republican National Convention, Black Night, we'll call it, other than announcing J.D. Vance, who loves him, some Project 2025. This was Black Night. I could add in some other things, some other adjectives, but I won't. So I heard from the Black Republican from North Carolina, the one that said some people need killing, and then the one from Florida, the representative who said Jim Crow was great for the Black family, and we're supposed to listen to them. Mayor Mondale Robinson, from Amber Rose to Byron and Mark and anybody else who's preaching to us. And frankly, Amber Rose told some lies there, but perhaps that's what her research led her to believe. You and I don't believe, and I don't want to speak for you, Mayor, aren't saying that everybody has to believe the same thing. Everybody who looks the same has to believe the same thing. But we can't even get to that part where we're not a monolithic community until we tackle what was said, Mayor. Your turn.
Yeah, listen, can we say disaster on steroids?
Yeah.
And on steroids is absolutely what we watched. First of all, let's be clear. Amber Rose says she does not identify as Black. She's not Black, but she spent the entire time on stage being surprised that her dad supports white racist Donald Trump. Why were you surprised? The idea that people lied to you about Donald Trump came from where? Nobody had to lie to you about the fact that Donald Trump has more than 40 years of being racist documented. This is the man who said our first president can't be president or can't be American because he's Black. What else is the reason that you're asking for long-form birth certificate when no one has ever produced that? The idea that Amber Rose is even on this stage speaks to the idea that political processes on both parties lack intimate relationship with Black people and what moves us. This is a disgusting ploy to reach out to Black people, thinking because she dated rappers that she could move Black people, probably Black men. The problem with people, though, is her audience, if she has any sway at all, is not Black men. Black men are not taking social cues or marching orders from Amber Rose, and no one in the Black community is, for that matter. She herself has said that she's not a part of our community. She literally fought someone for calling her Black on TV. The idea that this is motivating, it speaks to how disconnected CNN and its pundits are to our community. Van Jones sitting up there with his $100 million check from one of the richest men in the world.
Thank you.
His lovely white relationship with his wife speaks volumes at how disconnected he is from our community. I don't know what happened or when this happened to Van Jones, who is a North Carolina native, that he forgot what it means to be Black. Not in the sense that he's not Black himself, but the struggle and what actually moves our community. For those other guys, I'll keep it very simple. There's a long history of Black people showing up in a way, being aides, and also allies to white supremacy. And we saw all of that on full display at the Republican National Convention. These guys showed up in the spirit, not of Harriet Tubman, not of Frederick Douglass, not of Sojourner Truth, not of any Black freedom fighters. They showed up in the spirit of those who sided and snitched on Black rebellion during slavery. They showed up and snitched on Harriet Tubman, trying to sneak Black people away from the plantation. They showed up in the spirit of those who would infiltrate Black social justice organizations in the 60s, helping the FBI and CIA. And that's what we witnessed completely from every Black person on the stage. One of them, Wesley Hunt, said his ancestors would be extremely proud. His slave ancestors would be extremely proud that he's speaking at the Republican National Convention. And I want to know, how in the hell is that possible that ancestors who were enslaved by people who are still supporting the Confederate, which was a war fought to continue to hold us, would be proud of you standing there pretending that America does not and is not showing up as a racist nation?
Yeah. His ancestors would not be proud. They wouldn't even know about it. They'd be isolated in desperate conditions in slavery because he ran and snitched about the uprising they were planning for the next 24 hours. So they'd be dead soon. They'd be made examples of because of him. They would not be proud. That part we definitely know. So Van Jones, you raised mayor, and I have a thought. It's just an educated guess. I think that's like a hypothesis. He wants to keep his check now that CNN's under new leadership. So he's kind of inching on over and trying to pretend that, what it is isn't.